sent you last night. In this practice session, there is a Zoom link on the agenda page. It will just bring you back to this Zoom session. On the day of the event, it will take you to the actual partners breakout session. Also to note, in our email comms for this event, we will give you a list as a doc and also a Google Doc with all the individual Zoom links. So it'll be even easier for you to navigate. So for Slidos and comments and questions, the last important area to review is comments and questions. We're using Slido, which comes highly recommended to us. Throughout the show, as well as today, you can go to Slido and make a comment or ask a question about the program. No registration required, and you can post using your name or anonymously. Everyone else at the event can see what you post, and so can the host of the event. We will also have moderators watching this feed. The link to the Slido feed is in the email we sent last night. You can also find it on the agenda page associated with the main stage practice session for today. Okay, so now I think it'd be a great time to pause and either answer questions, or if you guys want to go and try out the agenda page, event page, and Slido link, you'll find those links in the email I sent yesterday. I'll also put them here in the chat if that's accessible to you. If you can't find either, the best thing to do would just be to go to sitetechglobal.com and then navigate with the headers for the agenda and event page. And then no need to sign out of this Zoom at all. If you're going to go test it out, just make sure you're on mute and go to the links in a new window. And then we'll come back here for any comments and questions or input on your experience overall. But now I would love to pause and answer any questions you guys may have right now. Okay, great. So
hello, it's Carlo. I have a question.
Hi, Carlo. Yes.
So my question is, like, if I wanted to find the agenda for all, like, the list of different meetings, like, can I find it on the SciTech Global's website?
Is your question, where is the agenda page?
No, that's last meeting.
Yeah.
Got it. So to access the agenda page, if you go to sitetechglobal.com/agenda,
okay,
it should take you right to the agenda page. And as you go through it, there are 2 practice sessions. There is a practice session and also a practice breakout session for you to play with.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Of course. So we'll give you guys about 5 minutes.
So,
hi.
Hi, it's Matt King. I have a question about the YouTube player. So I saw a link on the agenda page to the Watch Live. I don't know if that's where you go to do a practice one. It says there isn't anything available to play right now, but do the normal YouTube video hotkeys of like K to play and pause and work on this player?
Ned and or Sam or Dimitri, do you have any?
Matt, this is Ned speaking. I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but it's an excellent question. I think we will find the answer to it and get back to you though. But Sam, do you have any idea as far as the YouTube live player?
So the YouTube live player is sort of embedded in the event page, as you saw. So I don't think there's any sort of need to go to the website. Sorry, was that the question? I had a bit of difficulty making it out.
The question is, when you're on that page, does the live player capture the standard YouTube shortcut keys for the player.
Everybody else getting audio?
Oh, yes. When you're inside, you'll notice that the YouTube player is sort of in a frame, and when you're
Yeah.
inside that frame, the standard YouTube hotkey should work.
Awesome. Okay.
And then we have a question here in the chat. So Albert will ask, do you use headings navigation on all these pages? And the answer is yes to that. And then David here also sent me a question. If we could show times in the person's local time zone. Unfortunately, the answer to that is no. All times will be listed in Pacific time.
Yeah, this is Matt. I don't see any, there isn't on the live page, there isn't actually a heading for the player or a landmark region around the player frame. Like, not finding a really easy way to get to the actual player. I find, oh, well, let's see, there's main. It says video on a,
What would you suggest we do there, Matt?
Actually trying to find the player right now. Let's see. I see the words playing now. Let's see here. Maybe something happened to the player. There's no buttons on this page. I'm going to reload it.
Also, you want to make sure that you're on the event page, not the agenda page. The title bar will be event. And then when you're on the event page, it's the main landmark. There's a link for see full agenda, and then the video player is directly below that.
Yeah, I think I got off of that page somehow. Okay. Let's see. Practice main stage session.
Hi there. I was just wanting to help a little bit if I could. So when you see the Watch Now link on the agenda page, it will take you to the currently active event, which is this one. And then there you will see the main landmark, and in that is a play button, which will use the player.
Okay, so okay, now I'm on that page. I got back to it. Not sure how I got off of it. Watch later is Matt King, share, and then play. Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense, Matt?
Yeah, okay, so there's a see full agenda link inside of that player frame, right? And then an image, a slate, tech global, watch later, smacking, then share, then play, okay. Oh, I see, and then that's the last, actually the last thing in that region, okay. Yeah, in the the way the reading order is, the heading for practice main stage session is after the main content and after the player. So, and it's the very first heading on the page. So if somebody's navigating by heading, it works fine for me. I navigate by region. And then if I press the button key 3 times, I end up on play, and that's easy enough. When I hit play, it says playback is disabled on other websites and video is unavailable. Is that the expected experience for this test?
Yes, it's for this test. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what happened. Then when I did that, when I hit the play button, the player sort of went away and got replaced by that. So there's no longer a player there. That's what I'm getting for this test right now?
Yeah. That
okay.
This is we were not as thoughtful about as we might have maybe been about what we dropped in here as our proxy for the live player, but it's a good reminder we have to test it carefully. But the real live player before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would be helpful to some people just to put like an off-screen heading either inside the player frame, like right before the watch later button, share button, and play button, if that's possible, or if not inside the player frame, like immediately before it, and just an off-screen heading that says video player or live video player or something like that.
Well, we're certainly open to it. You think it would make it more clear to people how to find that player?
Yeah, I think it would for quite a lot of screen reader users. It would make it, because right now the first heading on the page is after the player. And I think some people might stumble trying to find it.
Oh, I see. So the first header that you hit is the one that says what the session is, as opposed to the player itself. I see.
I kind of wish there was a way to have the player after that heading, but I don't know the way the page is designed, if that's feasible. But
yeah, from a cited standpoint, if the page goes navigation, then there's a header that says live main stage video, and then to the right of that is a link to say it's see full agenda, so that takes you back to the agenda page, then the player,
okay,
and then beneath that it says playing now, practice main station.
So one of the problems is that live main stage video is not a heading.
Okay.
I do see that it's bold 45 point, but if that were a heading, that would help.
Well, that's easy enough to fix.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Thanks for helping us puzzle that out.
Yes. And then we have 2 questions on the chat. So someone was just asking if the sessions will be recorded. Yes, all sessions and breakout sessions will be recorded and available on our YouTube channel post-event. And then someone also asked for Slido. Is it possible to sort the comments from most recent to oldest? So the only way I am aware, and if anyone else has input here, is there are 2 tabs in Slido. One's popular and then one's recent. If you click on that recent tab, it should list them from most recent to oldest, from top to bottom. And then we have 2 raise your hands. So Bob Geyer, do you want to go?
Yes, I'm not seeing where to go to practice the breakout session. I got the main stage, but I can't figure out where the breakout session for today is.
Got it. So if you go to sitetechglobal.com/agenda, so the agenda page.
Yes.
And then you'll see practice main stage session. So keep going down, and then there should be a header, practice breakout session, with a button that says join on Zoom.
What I'm seeing is that the join on Zoom is following like the let me see here for a second. I'm sorry. So practice main stage session. And then as you go down there, you go past the speakers, and then it says now playing, and then join on Zoom. Then below that, it's the breakout session, practice breakout session. And then it
Yes.
lists the
So
speakers, but there's no join or anything.
got it. Yeah. So that join on Zoom is that is the button to click to join that breakout session. And thanks for pointing out. We're currently playing around with moving that practice breakout session, so the actual event title, ahead of the like now playing with the date and time and join on Zoom.
I think that would help a lot.
Yeah. So if you click on that join on Zoom, it will take you to this landing page for the current meeting we're in. We don't have like an actual dummy Zoom webinar, just because you can't be in two Zooms at once.
Right. Okay, thank you.
But yeah, perfect. Thanks for pointing that out. And then Nicole, I see your hand is raised. Would you like to go next?
Hey, so some of my questions have been answered just by navigating and listening to you talk. However, on the day of the sessions, when we go to the main stage and then we go to breakout, that watch now or watch live, actually it said watch live, that'll take us to the different sessions that are going on, or will you have a button like you do now that says join Zoom, and then it'll just flip you over, because it'll say, like, when you join a breakout room, it says you have to leave the current meeting and press, join meeting now. So is that how we're doing this?
So the watch live will take you to that event page, so that with the YouTube player on it. So all the main stage sessions will be hosted on that one single page. So you could stay on that page the whole day and you'll watch all the main sessions just like a TV program. You could just be there and have everything. The only time to ever go out of that page is if you join a breakout session through Zoom. And that's where you would access from the agenda page, and then that join on Zoom link.
So the watch live button only appears in connection with main stage sessions, and the Zoom button only appears in connection with breakout sessions, if that helps.
That does help. That was kind of where I thought you guys are going, but everybody was kind of like all over the place. So I just wanted to get a clear understanding. Yeah. Thank you.
You bet.
I have a question regarding the navigation of the agenda. I'm using NVDA, so I use the K key to go by link, and then obviously H to go by header. And I was going by header and then by link, and it just tells me the names of, I guess, the speakers. But the headers don't appear to be links as well, so I don't know when I've skipped from one session to another session if I'm just navigating by links. Did I miss something, or could you make the headers links as well?
Sam, can you help us out with that one? Maybe you could repeat your question.
Yeah, so when I'm navigating through the agenda, if I navigate with H, just go to all the headers, and then if I find a header that I'm of a topic I'm interested in, and then I type K to go to links, I'll go to the speakers, but the speakers are just individual names without any context that it's a speaker for a particular event. And then as I'm navigating just by links, it appears that I skip over the headers. So I don't know when I'm, excuse me, it doesn't appear that the headers are navigable links as well.
That's correct. The headers themselves are not links. What's happening right now is that the link to join any particular event is actually above the header. But what we're going to do is move that so that that link will then be, I think the consensus is, or will be below the header to make it a little bit easier to associate the header with the link.
Okay, but, so when you make that, because you could make the headers links as well. I mean, just a link to itself. So, for example, if I want to email somebody a link to a specific breakout session or whatnot, right, I can email them the link to that header directly, and then also as I navigate, if I'm just navigating via headers, suppose I do NVDA key F7 to show me all the headers, or to show me all the links, or just whatever it is on JAWS. If I'm looking at all the links, I have no context for those speakers. If the headers are not links as well, then I really have no context for those links.
Okay, I see what you mean when you're navigating in the links list, because the links kind of have duplicate labels. It would be easier if the headings themselves were links as well, so that then each link would be called what the actual event is when you're just navigating by link as opposed to by header.
Correct. Right. Yeah. So then if I'm in a specific say breakout session by header, and I'm navigating by links, then I'll know when I'm leaving that headers section. I'll know when I go to the next header because it'll be a link, as opposed to right now it just jumps over that header and I have no idea that I've left that context.
Right, and then you could also press enter on the heading itself without having to actually look around for a link.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, if you want to, I don't know if I'd make the heading itself a link to the Zoom session, because I might want to email the a specific a link directly to a specific section, right? That's a header, right? So then it's the link, the link hash ID, right, for that tag. Right, I could email that to somebody and say, hey, why don't you should check that out, and then they can click on it. They would go directly to the agenda page to that heading, and then be able to look at the content in that heading. So I don't know, because if you make the heading itself the Zoom link, right, then somebody's just going to automatically get popped into the Zoom link if I try to email them that heading.
So, hi, Robert, just popping in here. So the Zoom link, just as an example for the breakout sessions, so those will all be individual Zoom webinar landing pages. So it will have the session title, the time, description, and speakers. So in theory, you could just copy that link and be like, hey, check it out. And they could get the full breakout session description and everything.
Yeah, but if I want to send somebody a link to the agenda, to a specific heading within the agenda, I just want to clarify that I didn't think it was the best approach to, and I don't know, maybe I misunderstood what was being proposed. I wouldn't suggest making the heading itself, the link for the heading itself. I wouldn't suggest making that a link to the Zoom session. I would just suggest making that a link within the agenda page.
It's like an anchor. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Right. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be interesting to do. Yeah, that's a good thought. We hadn't, like so many things that hadn't occurred to us, but I could definitely see where it'd be super useful, especially if you wanted to call attention to a particular session, and circulate it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, thank you.
The one problem with those kind of links is the heading doesn't. If you do that, it's not clear what executing the link does to people, and it might feel like a broken link to a lot of people. So if you want a permalink link, might be better for that to actually be a link that immediately follows, you know, like,
or possibly a share button, like under the heading along with the join and everything, that would then share a link directly to that event.
Yeah, or even just a link named, you know, the link could even be named, well, you could make it a, you know, button, copy link to this session, or something like that. And then it could actually be smart and decide if it's going to copy a link. If it's a main stage session, you could just copy a link to that heading. And if it's a Zoom session, it could copy a link to the Zoom. But it makes it a one-step thing for the person who's doing it, is it copies it to their clipboard. But if you make the heading a link, you know, normally you want the link text of the link to tell you what the link is, where the link is going. And if it doesn't go anywhere, and it only changes the address bar, for a lot of people that could feel pretty broken.
Got it. Okay, yeah, no, I think this is really good feedback.
Yeah, but then how do you make the but then your link navigation though? How do you include headings within your link navigation?
Well, I think the idea of the heading actually linking to the Zoom page would be great, and going to, so I guess I'm not sure where the heading would go if it's a main stage session and you can't go to the main stage. There's no place to go if it's not live. Is that right?
Correct.
That's right. Yeah. That's the other thing, is that all of this is time-based content. So that introduces us a little additional complexity. The links don't function unless you hit them at the right time.
Yeah. So
saying the links to the Zoom sessions.
Right.
To the main stuff. Yeah.
We'll give this some thought.
Yeah,
I mean,
I appreciate the point that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we could. I mean, one simple approach that would be is to create anchors on this page so that we could, someone who has a link would return to look at that specific agenda item, and then from there they could determine whether it was actionable right now or not. You know, based on the agenda, which does have dynamic timing built into it. It'll, you know, sort of show what the current time is and whether this segment is available.
Yeah, and I think the most natural anchor would be the heading itself, although that is a good point, that it might appear to be a broken link if all it's doing is putting a hash whatever in your location. But I don't know of a better way to have anchors to the specific areas within the agenda. And then also if you're just navigating via links, I don't know how to provide context, to know that you're navigating from one heading to another heading section.
If you put those anchors in, and it's just like a permalink icon thing, you can put an ARIA label on it that just says, permalink to, and then have it ARIA label by reference the name of the
Another
session.
thing to remember is that I think there will be a little bit less confusion, because like the watch live link will only appear when that particular event is going to be available to watch live. So you're never going to have like 20 different watch live links and you don't know what you're watching.
Yeah, but what he was saying is, if you're navigating by link and you're going from one speaker to the next speaker just to capture who their names are, you don't know when you're now reading the name of a speaker who's in the following session. So if the permalinks were there as a way to break it up, I think that makes sense. And it would be really easy to label the permalinks.
So the permalinks would create a kind of a divider between each session, so it was easier to tell when you cross
Yes.
from one session to another.
Correct.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
and the ARIA label makes sense too.
Yeah, if you could either calculate an ARIA label, or if you want, you can put ARIA label like permalink 2 on that, and then ARIA label by, and it self-references itself plus the heading. If anybody needs help with the coding part of that, I can send a code sample.
great. No,
I'm sure that would be helpful, Matt.
All right, I'll send you a note and add.
Thank you.
and then looks like we got 2 hand raisers as we head into the end of our meeting. So John Filippo, do you
Hello.
want to go? Hi, John.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. I have a simple Zoom question. Yeah, I can mute my audio, but I need to mute your audio so that I can go do my work and not hear the audio coming from the meeting. Do you know if that's possible?
Oh, to actually turn off the sound? No, I don't think, I know you can
I
turn
mean,
it
you
off.
have to leave the meeting.
So if you're, so VoiceOver, JAWS, and NVDA all have audio ducking capability. So that's what I would recommend using. So that way your screen reader is always going to talk louder than the meeting. It'll duck the meeting audio.
Okay. I get it. Thank you.
Yep. Also, if you are on Windows in the volume mixer, you can also adjust the volume of Zoom sort of separately and set it to a volume that's comfortable for you.
Thanks.
And then Walt, do you want to go next?
Hi, Walt.
Hey, can you hear me okay? Is my mic working properly?
Yeah, we can hear you beautifully.
Perfect. So I must be missing something. Once I drill down into the main stage YouTube channel video, what's the easiest way to go back to the agenda without terminating the entire YouTube player? Because I can't seem to just go back.
So if you are kind of on the main stage and you're watching an event, the menu up at the top still remains available where you have events, register, agenda, etc. And one good thing to know is if you press Shift Enter, say on the agenda link, what it will do for you is it will open that in a new window. So that way the event player will continue playing in your previous browser window, and the agenda will pop open for you in a new window.
Okay, excellent. I didn't okay, I'll test it again. Just to make sure that I can get back up to that menu area, and opening up a separate tab is a good idea.
Hey, Sam, should we code the navigation so that any click on a navigation item opens a new tab?
I vote no on that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's going to be a question that is going to differ slightly by opinion. If we did, I'd want to put a label on the links that says opens at a new tab, because you never want to be sort of opening new tabs for people without sort of warning.
Okay, all right.
But,
well, it sounds like
I think sort of, yeah.
Sounds controversial, so maybe we should steer away from that.
Yeah, I think possibly, if I was going to sort of put a tip somewhere, I don't know if you have sort of a place for tips and tricks or resources, is just letting people know that Shift Enter is the quick way to get something to pop open in a new tab.
Sorry, just to be actually, I think Control Shift Enter would be a new tab.
You're right, Shift Enter.
Shift Enter in Firefox, Control Shift Enter in Chrome, and
I got Control Enter in Firefox is a new tab for me.
I meant Control Enter, right? Sorry,
Yeah,
Shift Enter is new window.
Yeah.
I have a question about the comments page if we have time.
Sure.
I'm wondering if there's any control over the format of the list of comments available in, like, so there were, I actually left that page, but if I remember right, it was like the name of the person and then maybe upvote, downvote buttons and a timestamp and then the actual comment. Just as a screen reader user, to have to listen to the timestamp and the button before I hear the actual comment makes it really hard to find the interesting stuff. And I'm wondering if that can be changed around easily.
Well, that's a third-party setup. I'm happy to send a suggestion. I think it makes a lot of sense, but we don't control Slido. This is Slido, and we don't control their interface.
Right. Well, then I wouldn't worry about it.
One tip is generally screen readers, NVDA definitely does, JAWS definitely does, will have a command that lets you jump to next block of text. And so when you're on the comment name, next block of text should sort of skip those up and downvote buttons and jump you right to the comment.
Like in JAWS, control down arrow, for instance, actually takes you to the next comment.
Yeah.
It actually jumps you all the way to the next comment because the way I don't think they used a paragraph tag around the comment. I didn't look at the code, but
be instead of control down arrow navigates by paragraph, but there's also a command to navigate to the next block of text, whether it's a paragraph or what have you.
Yeah. So the N key is looking for, if you're on non-linked text, it's going to go to linked text, and if you're on linked text, it's going to. Sorry, the noise. Anyway, that's it. We'll just deal with it.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. But I'll say it's a good point. I mean, in Slido, they should probably rethink this a little bit.
Yeah, would be nice.
Cool.
Great. Are there any other questions?
Robert, you might just want to mention Be My Eyes and the help email.
Yeah, so just to close out the session, so on December 2nd and 3rd, our partner Be My Eyes is helping us with all our customer support needs. So if you run into a situation where you're having trouble navigating the site or have questions, things like that, download the Be My Eyes app. And then once you've created your profile, if you go into specialized help and then click events, you'll see Site Tech Global listed. Just click on that and then you'll be directed to one of our customer support agents. And then you can always send us an email at help@sitetechglobal.com and someone from our team will respond ASAP before and during the event. And that is it. Thank you all for joining. And this session will be available on demand on YouTube if you want to come back to it and hear questions or get a refresher on anything that you need.
Oh, this is George. I just wanted to make sure that I believe I've registered and that we'll be getting a link a couple days before, or maybe I've already got one, that would get us into it. I'm just concerned about being able to get into the event.
Good question.
So George, you're all good. Sorry.
Go ahead.
You're all good.
Robert.
So to access the show, you don't need any of your ticket information. You don't need a login or password. You don't need anything like that. You just go to sitetechglobal.com on the day of, and we'll also be sending out links in an email the day before, and then also in the morning. You just click those links and you'll have full access to the show, breakout sessions, etc. So there's no, it's not gated in any way.
And we'll send the links, George, right before the show, so people will have them handy and they can jump right in.
And will the
Okay.
recordings be available post-conference? And they'll be mailed out as well?
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
They'll all be
that's
available, linked from the agenda and also in the YouTube channel for SciTech Global. And we will send it'll take a day or two to get all the captioning and transcripts done. But once they're posted, we'll send everybody who attended the event a cheat sheet on how to access all the sessions.
great.
Including the breakouts.
Great. I've not been able to untangle myself from other commitments, so it'll be great to see the things that I couldn't get in real time.
Yeah. Well, it's great. That's why we're doing it.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
Kudos
Thank you.
to you guys for putting together this pre-event test out. Tremendously powerful and positive. I've been at other events that did not have anything like this, and the events were a complete disaster because you can't address things live when.
Right. And we've certainly been humbled by what it takes to learn how to do this sort of thing well. So we're very, very grateful for everyone's feedback. It's enormously helpful.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Echo that sentiment. Thanks for getting this feedback.
Thanks.
Good job.
Thank you. Okay. Hope to see you all next week.
Hey, you guys, everyone have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you. Same to you.
Too. All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Email me if you need anything at help@scitechglobal.com.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.